The confrontation. The crystal chandeliers of the Naval Officers Club cast golden light across the polished marble floors, where dress uniforms mingled with elegant evening gowns. Lieutenant Kira Ashford stood near the bar, her dark brown hair pulled into a regulation bun, her posture rigid despite the champagne glass trembling slightly in her grip. She'd been avoiding Admiral Marcus Thorne all evening, but his tall frame cut through the crowd toward her with unmistakable purpose. His steel-gray hair and sharp blue eyes had commanded respect across 3 decades of service, but tonight, those eyes held concern. Lieutenant Ashford, his deep voice carried authority softened by genuine worry. Your performance reports have been troubling. Your commanding officer claims you've been unreliable. Kira's olive-toned face flushed with anger. For 6 months, she'd hidden the truth, protected by silence and fear. But standing before this legendary admiral, something inside her snapped. Permission to speak freely, sir. Her voice shook. Marcus nodded, his brow furrowing. Without hesitation, Kira set down her glass. Her fingers moved to the collar of her dress uniform. She pulled back the fabric at her shoulder, revealing angry red scars that traced across her collarbone and disappeared beneath the white shirt, evidence of shrapnel wounds poorly healed. This is why, Admiral. The mission to Kandahar port, I was left behind. No extraction. No medical support. They said I was expendable. The Admiral's expression transformed from authority to shock, his mouth opening wordlessly. Around them, conversations continued, oblivious to the bombshell Kira had just dropped. Marcus stepped closer, his voice dropping to an urgent whisper. My office. Tomorrow morning. 0600 hours. The investigation and growing bond. The Admiral's office smelled of leather and old books, a sanctuary from the sterile military corridors. Kira arrived before dawn, finding Marcus already there, surrounded by classified files and incident reports. Coffee, he offered, his formal demeanor softened by the intimate hour. Over the next 3 weeks, those early morning meetings became their routine. Kira revealed everything, how Commander Harrison had ordered the withdrawal without her, how the medics were told she'd refused treatment, how her injuries were documented as training accidents. Marcus listened with intensity that went beyond professional duty. His fair-skinned hands would clench when she described the pain, the betrayal. One morning, as rain drummed against the windows, he circled his desk and sat beside her instead of across from her. May I? He asked softly, gesturing toward her shoulder. Kira nodded, pulling back her collar. His fingers traced the scarred tissue with unexpected gentleness, his touch sending warmth through her chest. You're the strongest person I've ever met, Marcus whispered. Their eyes locked. The 15-year age difference, the rank separation, none of it mattered in that moment. He leaned forward slowly, giving her every opportunity to pull away. Instead, Kira closed the distance, pressing her lips to his. The kiss was tender, cautious, filled with months of unspoken tension. When they finally separated, both were breathless. This complicates things, Marcus said, his forehead resting against hers. Everything was already complicated, Kira smiled, her amber eyes reflecting the storm outside. They returned to the files, but now their hands occasionally touched, sending electricity through the dim office. Justice was coming, and so was something neither had expected. Justice and new beginnings. The military tribunal convened on a gray morning, the courtroom packed with officers and press. Kira sat at the witness table, her uniform pressed and crisp, her posture radiating the strength she'd fought to reclaim. Commander Harrison sat across the room, his expression smug until Admiral Thorne entered. Marcus had compiled irrefutable evidence, falsified medical records, intercepted communications, testimony from 3 other sailors Harrison had similarly abandoned. Kira's testimony was steady and clear. She detailed the ambush, the screaming into her radio as helicopters lifted away without her, the 8 hours she'd spent bleeding in a warehouse before local allies found her. Her voice never wavered, though her knuckles whitened gripping the table edge. Marcus testified next, his authority lending undeniable weight to her case. When he described finding Kira's suppressed injury reports, his voice carried restrained fury that filled the silent courtroom. The verdict came swiftly. Harrison and 2 complicit officers were stripped of rank and dishonorably discharged. As the gavel struck, Kira felt tears slide down her pale cheeks, not from pain, but relief. Outside the courthouse, Marcus found her watching the sunset over the harbor. "I've requested transfer to Naval Intelligence in Washington," he said quietly. "Effective next month." Kira turned to him, understanding immediately. Different commands, no conflict of interest. "That's quite a sacrifice, Admiral." "Marcus," he corrected, taking her hand. "And you're worth every sacrifice." That evening, in his apartment overlooking the water, they shed their uniforms and their careful restraint. His lips traced her scars with reverence, transforming marks of trauma into symbols of survival. Their bodies moved together with tender urgency, finding healing in intimacy. Afterward, wrapped in sheets with the city lights twinkling below, Kira rested her head on his bare chest, listening to his heartbeat. "What happens now?" she whispered. Marcus kissed her dark hair. "Now we build something honest. Together."